Greetings. This time I'm not going to talk about wood turning or much, at least at first. What I want to talk about is using the old angle grinder here with a carving disc, and these are the Lancelot wheels. Probably familiar with them if you've ever done any carving. They're basically a chainsaw wrapped between two discs to make a circular chainsaw. And of course it mounts on your angle grinder. And you just attach it with the standard hardware. And off you go. Well, I started making a bowl with this and wanted to carve a nice scalloped edge, and we'll look at that later. And I immediately had a problem. These things work really well. They work, in fact, I feel, too well. They just want to pull themselves right into the wood. They'll pull themselves right to the hub if you let them. It's just really hard to control the depth of cut with these things. It's just a battle, and I almost messed up the bowl. And before I stopped, and I thought, well, I looked at it and I thought, what this needs is some kind of a way to limit the depth so you could use it a little more control. And so I thought, well, something that would bring a nice shoulder out so that when you cut down a certain distance, it would hit the shoulder and stop. And then you could control it and maybe index the cuts over and remove a controlled amount of wood at a time. So I just went online, of course, to find that disc and quickly found out it just doesn't exist. I couldn't find anything that would do what I wanted. So rather than give up, which I tend not to do, I made one. So I started out with a drawing. Upside down or not, it doesn't matter how I hold it. This is just a reference drawings to give me some targeted dimensions. And the one that really matters the most is this one right here. That conforms to the outer diameter of these discs. What these discs do is they clamp the chainsaw chain on the guide tangs that typically would ride in the chainsaw bar. And they grab it such that the outer diameter of the disc grabs that chain link and holds it in place, pinching it between these two discs on that tang. So consequently, I made a disc out of aluminum. I had a hunk of 3/8 thick aluminum. For the next one, I would start with a thicker piece, and I'll show you why later. And put it on the metal lathe. The first part was figuring out how I could hold it on the metal lathe. So quickly the process was that I got a 4-jaw chuck on my lathe, cut this out of, first I cut it out of the plate with just my bandsaw. And then I put it in a 4-jaw, got it fairly close to center, and bored this hole. This hole diameter didn't matter that much as long as it fits over this, because it's not going to guide on the washer down here. There's a shoulder on the washer. It's not going to guide on that. The lower plate, the lower disc is going to guide on that. So this just has to clear the shaft. But this diameter right here, this shoulder, is kind of crucial. So let's see if I can put this back together. And if you've ever taken these off, and of course they always come apart when you do, they're a bit of a challenge to get them lined up and put back together. And I think I've got sort of a way. You get it kind of close, then you get the mating disc and get it out there and start letting it find itself. And it's not quite there, but I'll get it there. And I think there it is. Pretty much there. So this is what I ended up with. If you look at that now, when you cut down so far, this shoulder will hit the groove in the wood and stop it from going down. So then it mounts like the normal one, and this is where I was saying I'd start with a thicker plate next time, because that would allow me to drop this dish down further. But it's still good enough for what we're going to do is to show you how it works. So put the nut back on and tighten it up. I'll tighten it up better later. And that's how it will mount. And what I want to do next now is I'm going to get the bowl that I started to work on, and I'll show you how this behaves. I've already tried it once, and I'm surprised that it actually pretty much works the way I had intended it to do. So I got a lot more control, and we'll show you that later. Okay, we're about ready to start to show you what I do here. Now I'm trying to go with a scalloping sort of effect here. You can see that nice thick wall I started with. I got some target lines. These are just to get me in the general area. And show you a little bit how this works. Give you a little better view if I stand over here, I think. So start the motor up here. Tighten this up a bit. So you can see that this creates a nice little limiter, so it doesn't just dive right into the wood. It tries to, it'll definitely hold it back from going too deep at once. They can take controlled measure cuts at it. Let's go some more here. So I can keep going at this and get the general shape close. And then of course I'll take rotary tools to clean up the remainder and make my sweeping curves in here as I wish. But this is a good way to take a lot of material off at once. And as you can see, even when it tries to bite in, that disc stops it from going too far, and you've got some measure of control to exercise. So that's the demo for this disc here, and I hope you like it. Maybe if you see something like that with your carving tools, you could think of something like a disc or some sort of a limiting device to add to it like I did. And I'm going to work with this some more, get better at it. Like I say, it's a new tool to me. Even though I just made it, doesn't mean I know how to use it yet. And as I get better with it, I'm sure I'll have more fun. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.